it felt like everywhere we went, people were like, you should have a podcast. You should have a podcast.
So I'm going to talk at people
for like
15, 20 minutes.
30 minutes.
Like, that doesn't sound very interesting.
No. And it wasn't, it turned out.
This is it. Hey, cheers.
Hey.
Episode 1, take 7.
7.
Probably.
5. Might be 7.
Okay. So, here we go. Hi.
Hi.
You look great today.
Thank you. You look nice yourself.
Thank you so much.
This is Photography is Nothing, a podcast about photography and also other things.
Yes. Because the quote is by Henri Cartier-Bresson, photography is nothing, it's life that interests me.
Right, but photography also interests us.
That's true.
So we are going to, but I understand the quote. Sorry. So let's jump in.
Yeah.
What's going on right now? So this podcast is just going to be a conversation between two people and other people,
Yes.
sometimes at our discretion,
Right.
who we think sound fun and interesting,
Yes.
who want to talk about photography or other things.
Yeah.
We're not going to hold ourselves into. This is for everybody. That's the
Yeah.
idea. We're not supposed to be for everybody, but what did Nate Bargatze say? But can't I be for everybody? Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Why can't I be?
Why can't I be?
So we're starting this. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a professional documentary photographer. And I've been telling stories with and about photography on social media for a few years. And there were some requests for a podcast.
Quite a few requests for a podcast.
Yeah.
And so being the people pleasers that we are.
Yes. We're doing it.
We started a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Courtney McCracken.
I'm Zach Dobson.
And I have other credentials besides this, but I am married to you.
Yes.
And
So we run the business together.
we run the business and we talk about stuff. And we thought, you know what? Sure. Like we talk about stuff all the time. Let's just record it.
Right. Because I've always been the one on camera, but we always discuss things off camera.
Yes.
And all of the ideas have been kind of from both of us working on them together. So we might as well have this conversation.
Might as well record it
Yeah.
and then put it on the internet for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
What have you been up to lately?
Taking pictures and going places.
I know. We just went to the Indy 500 last weekend.
That's true.
And that is why we were drinking Bloody Marys.
Yes.
Because we had leftover Bloody Marys from the day of the Indy 500.
Yeah.
Which I've been working at getting you to enjoy more.
It worked. You finally did it.
You like them this
I
morning.
like
These
it
are
now.
delicious.
Thank you.
This is a great recipe. and
See,
these
this
are
is a
tasty.
good example of our type of collaboration. You find a recipe and you
Yeah.
send it to me, and then I make it, and then we enjoy it together.
I'm kind of the ideas guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this podcast has been in the works for like 9 or 10 months, right?
Yes.
Because for months we were like, absolutely not, no podcast.
Right.
Well, I was like, we got enough going on.
Yeah.
But then it felt like everywhere we went, people were like, you should have a podcast. You should have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe the universe is trying to tell us something, right?
Right. So
Like,
like that
what's the
first
harm?
one, I tried
What's
to
the
make
harm?
it
Let's do
more like my videos that I've been making where I just talk. But then it was like, so I'm going to talk at people
For like
15, 20 minutes.
30 minutes.
Like, that doesn't sound very interesting.
No. And it wasn't, it turned out. I think I said something to the degree of, I am your wife and I don't want to watch this.
That sounds about right. I think
So-
maybe at some point we'll put it in like extras
Oh,
where
God.
people can see it.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I
Okay.
actually made notes of things that I wanted to bring up.
That sounds just like you.
You're right.
Did you
So
take...
first point,
Yes.
I heard it's easy to start a podcast.
I know everybody's like, oh, it's so easy. Here's the thing. I think it's easy to start a bad podcast.
That's true.
And that's true of almost anything. It's easy to take bad pictures.
Yeah, all you got to do is push a button.
Easy to be a bad mom.
Yeah.
Like super easy to do all those things poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the real challenge is doing it well and to
Right.
your standards. And I mean, we aren't like kids. So like
Yeah.
we can't just like throw something up on the internet. Like we have a whole business.
No,
we have
yeah.
clients who like have a certain expectation of us. And then on top of it, you have, gained an audience on social media that I think expects a certain level from you. And my, ample 1,000 followers really love to see a certain kind of content,
That's true.
right?
Yeah. But now I
mean, anybody.
kind of jumped it.
You want to be in it and do it well.
Yeah.
So this has taken us a long time.
Yeah. So now that we're kind of jumping around, I want to go back to what you were saying about going to the 500.
Okay, but like, let's just walk through how we got to this place.
Mhm.
So let's just finish that train of thought.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we did what? We did a bunch of, we finally decided that you needed somebody to talk to.
Right.
And so I was like, well, you know who's always around?
Yeah.
Me.
Yes.
And
We're talking to each other all the time anyways. We might as well record it.
we do. We do work from home
Mm-hmm.
and school from home
Yes.
and live at home.
Yeah.
So why not throw a podcast into that mix? It's actually really hard, though, because it's like we didn't want to go to a studio.
Yeah.
So we had some generous opportunities to record in other places. We're lucky to have like a great local library that has a podcast studio. We have another, some family members that have a studio that we could have used, but we felt like that wasn't a good fit because we wanted it to really feel like us.
Yeah. Reflect our personalities.
And then it was just a matter of a whole lot of technological learning. Just like any job, we had to learn how to do something that someone does for a living.
Yeah. Right.
And that's not easy.
Right.
Okay. So
Yes.
we were like real dummies, thought we could do more than we could.
Right.
And we learned.
I mean, all the things
We have learned how to
said-
do a lot, but we are still like have so much to learn. But I do feel like, at a certain point you have to kind of jump in and let it be not what you are hoping for yet. But like,
Yeah.
let's just get started so that we can get the ball rolling and then invest more into this project as we go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there were so many barriers. Like just thinking about, I forgot that my cameras only can record a 12-minute clip.
Yeah, that was a big.
And then you got to like restart.
So the first episode we recorded, we didn't get a full video recording. Why are we doing this on video?
Because video is the future.
Video's the future.
It's not even the future.
Also,
it's the present.
fun. Don't
It's
you want
the
to know
now.
what your podcasters look like?
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to know? So,
Anyways.
let's go back to the 500.
Okay. So, how
what
about
was your
that?
favorite part about the 500?
Oh my
'Cause I
God.
have a favorite part.
You tell me. I can't think of one.
My favorite part of the 500
Uh-huh.
was when Tom Brady got booed.
Oh, yeah.
As he drove around the circle, it was like a wave. It was like everybody was like, boo. And like flipping him off. It was great. Because who's bringing Tom Brady?
That's being really tone deaf in Indianapolis.
Absolutely. And then
bringing,
it was also
the
like
most
A-Rod and like.
hated Derek Jeter.
Yeah. Like what?
Which is not as big of a deal.
But also just stupid.
Well,
'cause we
other
have
than
our
New
own-
Yorkers.
we
We're in the
have
middle of our
own-
rivalry with New York.
Right.
The
and
basketball
like,
games going on.
We have our own celebrities.
Yeah.
Indianapolis is not like Podunk, USA.
No. Reggie Miller was probably here anyways. They should have had him do it.
He was here probably for the tournament
Yeah.
because the game was here.
Right. That day. Yeah.
That
Yeah, He was
night.
probably busy working.
It was a
but he
Racers
could
and
have found
Pacers
time.
day for those of you who
Racers
are
and
not
Pacers.
from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That is like a doubleheader that
Yeah.
has not happened very many times.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Well, from a personal standpoint, I had a lot of fun at the race,
It was fun.
hanging out with my family.
This year you went you've been going the last couple years as a
Spectator,
Yes.
although I have photographed it before
correct.
a couple times. But like last year, I mean, photography-wise, we had those rain delays, and I took a lot of photos, and I had a lot of photos that I really liked.
You
And
had fun in the race.
I
at
did,
the rain,
but
the
not
rest of us
everybody
were
else
not
was really
having fun.
bored.
We were bored
so-
because we did not have cameras.
No,
walk around. We
yeah.
had our phones, I guess. We played games and made videos making fun of you.
Yeah, they did make fun of me.
They were funny. You can go back and find those TikToks. We should link them.
Yeah. But this year, I was like, okay, I took a lot of photos last year. I am going to be more present as a family
Fan?
member and fan and just being in the things. So I didn't take a lot of photos, and the ones that I took, I don't think I got any that I liked this year.
Oh, that's sad. So that's
Yeah.
the problem, is that if you don't take enough, there's like a critical mass, right? You have like a tipping point, even though I know tipping points aren't a thing, actually.
Hmm.
But there is like a tipping. It kind of feels like they are a thing.
Yeah.
You hit a
right.
critical mass, and you get enough pictures that you actually like start going
Right.
and getting some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I
If
always
you
tell
don't
people.
get to that threshold,
Yes.
then you aren't getting any good pictures. I feel like I hear that a lot. Like if you can't spend a little bit of time just shooting.
Getting into the
But it was a really
flow
busy
of it.
day because we had tons of traffic issues.
Yeah, we didn't get there early enough to like walk around and do some stuff.
Problems.
Yeah, well, that's something I always tell people is like, almost always the first few photos that you take in a day are not going to be very good. Like it's like warming up for a sport or something. You gotta like, you know, get into a flow and a rhythm and acclimate yourself to the place and all that kind of stuff. And so there wasn't any like time to do that.
Okay.
So, but you know, it's different personally than as working for a client. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to perform when I'm just taking pictures for myself.
Sure. So you let your guard down a little bit. Like you don't require so much.
No. So it's okay.
Also, you have distractions of kids. Like we had 2 kids with us.
Yeah.
And like I said, like it was a really chaotic morning getting in there.
Right. So let's see. What else did we get into? Cedar Point.
We went to Cedar Point last week. We've been very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another place where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get all these great photos at Cedar Point because there's so much going on. And that was mostly because the weather sucked.
Yeah, well, it was cold.
It was cold and
so people were
a little bit rainy.
Also, it was our kids'
first
first time to like a major roller coaster park.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
And there's a lot of waiting in line, and it's like you're not going to get
pictures
like waiting in line.
Correct.
And then also, I dropped that camera.
You want to talk about that? Did you hear back from them?
Yeah, he was like, "Don't panic, we'll work it out."
Okay.
So I was borrowing a camera from Fujifilm. It's this $5,000 camera, the GFX100RF, and it's 100 megapixel. It's like a medium format camera, so really big sensor. The lens is built in. It's like a 28 millimeter equivalent. I don't know why I'm like pitching the camera right now.
I mean, because
this is what I use.
You like Fuji.
I'm building
you
it
work
up.
With Fuji on a lot of things. We like Fuji.
My regular camera that I take everywhere with me is an older Fujifilm.
Fuji. Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, this is like a bigger version of what I already use. I'm really interested to see like what this images would look like with 4 times the resolution.
And they were huge. The resolution was awesome, right?
Yeah.
You showed me some pictures of like our daughter dancing.
Yeah.
And there was like a reflection in her eye.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And I was like, oh, this is like what CSI envisioned.
This is the vacation shot that gives us something to work with?
The tourist was taking a picture of this girl, so enlarging the reflection in her eye. I'm gonna slide the image over.
There's our victim.
Digitize it. That's Detroiters.
I know, but I'm saying, but they're obviously
CSI, zoom and enhance.
Right. That was
zoom and enhance.
Yes, the digitize it. That's what it felt like.
So I don't know when that felt. So what happened was the strap that it came with was just, it's like a little key ring, a mini key ring that goes through the camera and attaches to the strap, and it somehow had worked itself back through the strap.
It was probably just a fluke.
Yeah. So I'm
sure it was just
took
like
it out of my bag
things.
and I put the strap on, and it just detached and fell and hit the ground, and the bottom plate hit the ground. And at first it seemed like it was working fine. Like I turned it on, I didn't notice any damage. It seemed to be taking pictures, and I went about my business. Mm-hmm. And then I realized like a couple hours later that like, oh, the pictures aren't turning out. What I'm seeing on the screen is not what I'm actually getting. They're like overexposed by like 10 stops.
Remember how I told you to so then I made you get that couple in the rain?
Yeah.
Take a picture of our family.
This is how I figured out that the camera was broken.
But they were like, the guy was like taking so many pictures.
Yeah.
Very friendly, very nice.
Yeah.
I think that the woman he was with was really the person who
should have been doing it.
Taking the pictures.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's like, I don't think these look right. And then I looked at them and they were all messed up.
He was really nervous, not because I don't think he was capable, but she was like helping him.
Yeah.
He was like worried to like make a mistake.
Right. You're trying to like
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Well, you're trying to like help his feelings in case he happens to like hear this.
I am. That is what I'm doing.
So then I realized too, I tried to open the door, the CF to the SD cards, and it was like jammed. So the bottom plate had bent up into the door, and it wasn't taking pictures, and I was not happy.
So
about
anyways,
that.
they're going to work on that and fix that.
They're going to work on it.
I had a thread that I wanted to ask you about. Somebody said, I believe people take photos of you through the lens in which they see you. So I'm coming in hot.
What?
Listen, I don't mean professional photos, but regular everyday pictures. Usually people who love and like and enjoy you take the best pictures of you.
Oh.
And Because they see you in a certain light, their photos tend to capture what they see.
Okay.
What do you think?
I do think people take.
I think there's something to that.
There
but
is,
I was
for
really
sure.
curious about what you would think about that.
No, I agree. I think that people take the best photos of things that they know well.
Okay.
Just broadly speaking, if you're a dancer and you take photos of dance, your photos are going to be better than someone of a comparable skill level who doesn't know dance.
Mm-hmm.
So, a professional can learn to kind of adapt and adjust.
Well, maybe
and
by getting to know the
learn.
subject. You talk
You
a lot
do-
about
yeah.
how the photos that are the most interesting are from photographers who have gotten in and really gotten to know the subjects
Yeah.
and embedded themselves.
Well, I always think back to when I was in college, I went to see this sports photographer give a talk. I'm pretty sure his name was Dave Black, and he told his story, and he started out as a gymnastics coach.
Okay.
And so he was a coach, and he started taking pictures because he wanted to show his students the proper form. So he was getting them, at the peak moments, and it really showed off how they were supposed to be positioned.
Okay.
And then people were like, "Oh my God, these are the best gymnastics photos we've ever seen."
Okay.
Because he's showing them in the best positions. And then that led him to doing more photos, and then he started doing ice skating because it's very similar in form and stuff
Sure.
to gymnastics. So he became regarded as the best in the world at these things. And then he started photographing the Olympics because these things are at the Olympics. So he started doing other events, and before you know it, he's a major sports photographer working for Sports Illustrated and all these places. And so anyways, the point is that really stuck in my head, and that's why I always tell people photograph things that you know and love first, because you're going to get the best photos of those things because you know them and you care about them. So I think this applies to the same thing. You know your people, you care about your people. And also, I think it has a lot to do with the people who are having their picture taken. They feel more comfortable.
Sure. That's got to be a huge part, right?
So-
because you're more likely to go about your business.
That's why, too, there's there are portrait photographers who are incredible portrait photographers. If you look at Richard Avedon or one of my personal favorites, Nadav Kander, they just really, you feel something about the subject. You're learning something about them, you're seeing them. It's a collaboration between the subject and the photographer. You always say that about how photography is a two-way conversation. But I think you have to be really good to be able to do that with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's its own skill.
That's its own skill, and that is separate
from your technical skill.
But if you're not that skilled or you want to get better, starting with people that you know is a good way to.
Well, and then you can really, I guess, learn what are you trying to do with anybody.
Mhm.
If you can be your best self, best photographer version with people you know well or with
Yeah.
subjects you know well,
Yeah.
then you have something to aim for as you're going out.
Right.
And you can mine that gap, right? The difference between
Yeah, well-
what you can do with at your best level versus
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah, and that's making me think too, if you have aspirations to be a photographer and you start out with people that you know, your closest friends and your family members, then you can kind of get this ground level, I think, for I can make good, here's the best portraits I can make. And then if you start photographing people that you don't know as well and the pictures aren't as good, you can start to be all right,
What's the difference?
what's the difference? Or how do I get my photos of clients to look as good as my ones that's my personal work? It's also making me think this is why personal work is so important when you're not shooting for anyone else. You can be free to be the most creative and take risks and try new things that you then can carry over. You learn things that then you can use with clients.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I like that. Thanks for being, that's a good prompt.
Okay. Well, I was wondering how you were going to do. I can link to that thread.
Yeah.
Under the podcast. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you have nice things to say to that poster, then you can do that.
Yeah.
Something you should know about me that's maybe been pointed out is I like to be nice.
Yeah. Right?
Okay, so other things that we're doing right now is it's Summer Swim League
Yeah.
around these parts
Yeah.
where we live in Indiana. And that's actually a place where you take some really fun pictures
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
of all these little hooligans
Yes.
who have no business being on a swim team.
Right.
I'm assuming they're not going to listen to our podcast.
No.
And are play acting swimming.
Yeah.
And it is fun. So I was a swimmer.
Yeah.
Right. And so I help run our neighborhood swim team, the same one I swam on when I was a kid. And
let's be clear, you were a swimmer in that you, one, swam at the top swimming high school in the country, and two, were a D1 scholarship athlete.
okay, correct.
Okay, let's just get all of those facts out there.
So I swam, and then yes, into college, and then I did not think that kind of swimming was for our kids. That wasn't really what I was interested in, was that elite childhood athletics. So anyways, I do run the swim team.
You run the swim team.
In the
Yes,
neighborhood.
fully.
And when we swim against other neighborhoods that have pools.
Yeah.
So a lot of places don't have this. So just to kind of get we have like a 4-lane, 25-yard pool, and we swim against other teams. No blocks, nothing, like no starting blocks. Like we just like dive from the side, and we have just parents as timers. They're terrible at it because they do not we don't have any touchpad. We don't have any kind of technology involved. And we do technically watch for DQs, but I never put them in the system.
Yeah.
And so it's just completely is just for fun. It's like if you and your friends lined up outside in the street to like have a foot race, like a running race. That's like how serious this is.
Sure.
But it is a lot of work. But anyways, you come and you take these very cute pictures of the kids in their little team suits. They have, and their swim caps. Like a lot of them get swim caps for our team.
Yeah.
And they wear these ridiculous goggles that have no business in swimming racing.
Right.
And their suits are all too big because they don't understand that their suits should be tight. And it's just like this. It's really fun and cute. And they're ridiculous. And they do things like we feed them candy like in the midst of the meet. Like it's malarkey.
Yeah.
And you catch all of it on camera throughout the course of the season. And it's really fun. And we have these really fun pictures of our swim team, which is a really great example of how shooting what you know. So our kids, this is like, we've been doing as parents, I think like 9 or 10 years of being summer swim team parents.
Yeah.
So shooting what you know and being familiar with the people, because you know so many of the swimmers.
And they know me.
You know so many of the parents, and you know the coaches, because the coaches grew up on the swim team.
Right.
And
well, this is one of my
the
favorite
subject. And you also shot like actual swim meets, like when we were younger, and you would always be like, what am I supposed to do for butterfly? And I would be like, that's it.
There's one action photo
one
you can
shot
get for butterfly.
Yeah. Somebody's going to come back. If you have another one, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, right.
Love to see it. No, I'm serious, because like, why not? Like,
Why
show
not?
us. If you have a great butterfly picture that
Yeah.
is not the one that I know you're thinking of it.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. If that is not that one, that would be cool to see. Along the lines, I was just thinking of making great pictures of swimming, is that a lot of what's interesting about swimming or any sport is what's happening not while the swimming is happening.
Sure.
Because that's what really makes the sport the sport. And
Definitely.
I actually just thought about when I was a kid, when my friend's dad would come take pictures. I don't know how, I've never thought about this.
Okay.
But he would take pictures. He was a hobby photographer, and he would print them and give them to us when he had like great ones of us. But like my favorite picture of me as a swimmer is me talking to my coach after my swim. I'd had a great swim. And I'm standing there with like my towel and I'll see if I can find this picture, but like, and I'm talking to them, and it just like, and I'm smiling and I'm excited, and I can still remember what it felt like in that moment, because I've seen that picture over the years, and it's like, it's kept me like in contact with that moment at this meet, where it was kind of at the beginning of my, like, where I was starting to get kind of good at swimming.
Sure.
Where I was like kind of serious and was performing well and winning races at like higher levels. And it was like really exciting. And it was just so cool to have this picture that I really looked like a real swimmer.
Yeah.
I was like 14.
That's awesome.
I know.
Well, I think that's a good point about, what we love about photography is that you can feel you can kind of feel what it was like to be in the moment if a good picture is taken,
Mm-hmm.
either because you experienced it and you were there, or maybe you experienced something similar and you see it in another photo, like, oh, I remember, or I went to this place and this feels like what it feels like to be in that place.
It's like take you right
or
back.
any of that stuff.
I mean,
And
really
I
cool
think,
if it can take you there, right, for the first time.
right.
And you've never even been there, but you're like, but I definitely think that's why certain places that have been photographed so much, we feel so familiar to us. I think New York
Right.
City feels familiar to everyone. Paris feels familiar. London.
Yeah.
Because of so much media we've seen from those places.
I think people are underrating documentary photography and what it can be in like daily life. Like, you can do documentary photography of daily life. You can get better photos the more you're around a subject, because people relax around you, they become more comfortable around you, you feel better in the place. Because whenever you go somewhere new, whenever you're like walking the streets doing street photography, there's always this kind of like unsure, like, does this person care that I'm taking pictures, or should I not be in this moment, or how close should I be, or how far should I be, or should I not show this person, or should I, like, you know, what if I'm taking a picture of a building and someone thinks I'm taking a picture of them, and like all this kind of stuff. And I think that getting over that by being in a place that you can be a lot of times and do it over and over again
Helps you take all that out, all those variables out. And then you can
right.
just take really
when
great
you
pictures.
get what people really look like, what you're saying, you get this moment that's you really experiencing this moment. Whereas when you do these things and you're around strangers, a lot of times, like, it's hard to know, is that expression that they're giving authentic? Are they reacting to the camera? Is something being misinterpreted? Like, all of this stuff. And we got to go.
Yeah.
We had to take a break so I could take our kid to their rehearsal. And in the car, I was thinking about that thread that you read where they said the people who love you take the best pictures of you. And what that made me think about was how some of my favorite photos of our kids were taken by you
Oh,
on your phone.
it's a nice topic. Yes, let's segue into what a good photographer I am.
And you are a great photographer. And so I thought that was a good, like, kind of proof of theory of that.
When you started taking pictures of me, I felt like those were the pictures I liked the best of me so far.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
my life. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. So that's cool. I just wrote this down because we talked about it from Mike Birbiglia's podcast when he had Zarna Garg on there. And she said, you don't get 1 million followers. You get one follower at a time 1 million times. I like that.
I like that too. Do you know what I like that he said the other day? I think he was on Rich Roll's podcast.
Okay.
And I shared this in my stories because I thought it was so funny when he was like, do not make things you like, make things you love, because no one's paying you anyways.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so true.
Yeah.
No one's paying you no matter what. Like, you cannot make choices. Like, you will make something so good and people will be like, that is amazing. I love it so much. I will give you $0 for it.
Right.
And actually, could I use it for free and make money off of it? That would be
Yes.
even better.
That's true.
I would love to make money off of your work.
People love to make money off of you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the market works. You've taken some pictures of Mike Birbiglia.
I have.
Quite a, like,
Segue.
yeah, I know. Quite
A couple different times.
yeah.
2 different times.
Yeah, yeah.
Both at the same venue.
Oh, really? It
Yeah.
was the same place?
Clues Hall at Butler University.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's nice. I got to meet
He
him.
is nice. Yeah.
But who came in while I was talking to him, and so then I had to leave, and that was a bummer.
Oh, just some other random people. Like, from
No,
the
but it was
university or
like
something?
university people.
Yeah.
It was like the theater people.
Yeah. Then you
who
got
were
to
in
get
charge,
out of there.
And so then I had to leave. That was sad.
That was sad.
And
Shout out to Gary from Connecticut.
I was gonna say,
his
yeah,
producer.
yes.
He was there too. He's cool.
And was he his opening act?
Yes, that
yeah,
too.
he was so funny.
Yeah.
He was really funny.
Yeah.
That was exciting. That was really nice. I don't know. Anything else that we've got to cover from this week? We did so many things. We did Cedar Point. We did the race. We had a Memorial Day party, which was really fun. Did you get any pictures from that? We had like a race party.
Oh,
night
the race
before.
party.
Probably not.
A couple.
But that was really busy. We had
It
a
was
lot of
busy,
people
and
here.
I was cooking a lot of burgers and
A
hot
lot of
dogs,
burgers. We
and I
went through,
was
like,
drinking a
100
lot of
burgers
whiskey
and hot
sours.
dogs. Yes.
So
Okay, and then
not so many photos.
Not so many photos. That was a fun thing. And then also we had our kids' variety show and field day, but the weather sucked. So we had
Yeah, I
we had
didn't
rough
take-
weather last week.
I thought I was going to take all these pictures. I had that camera. I'm like, he's like, hey, I've got that camera available for you to use. And I thought, oh, this timing is perfect. Like, going to New York City. I'm going to the race. I'm going to Cedar Point. I'm doing all this stuff.
I know.
And then like half the things I was like didn't get to take many pictures of, and then the camera broke, and I didn't even get to take that to the 500.
So when would that
Anyways.
camera be good for you? When would you like to use it? Because you did say in your initial video about it is that this is a good camera for people like you.
Well, it's very similar to my Take Everywhere camera, my Fujifilm that's more compact, 24 megapixels, and it's got mine you can change the lens. I use what's equal to a 35 millimeter. I like that field of view. I did like the 28. I will say that with this one. I liked how it was, the 28 being a little bit wider. I did like that. So I thought that this could be like a replacement for my camera. It's a great focal length for people doing street photography or documentary photography.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, then you can get up closer to your subjects. It's not a portrait camera. It's not a sports camera. But I don't know.
Are there a lot
street and documentary?
Okay, and so when would you want that, like,
that high of a resolution?
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it is nice. It is nice for things like street photography. It's when you look at somebody like Stephen Shore's photos, which he was the one who took the large format camera, which makes 8x10 negatives, and was shooting just everyday street scenes in the 70s. It renders really high detail, so it's really interesting to see these scenes in high detail, high resolution, very sharp. So it is cool for that kind of like
historical
level of
document.
detail. Historical documentation. If you're going to make large prints, it's great. You can see. I was really impressed at how much, when I did zoom in on a full image, like how much detail there was. So I do think I could see using that as an everyday camera for me.
Well, I don't know. I think that's about what I have been doing in the last week or two.
Yeah.
To get us started. I'm glad
Right.
that we finally sat down to do this. This
Yeah,
was
me
a
too.
long road.
Yeah,
It's been a long time coming.
really has. So
Also, Taylor Swift got her master's this week.
she got her master's. Oh, I was thinking master's degree. She got her master's. Her original recordings master's.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's big news.
That is big news. That has nothing to do with us.
No.
Except for it makes me happy. And Taylor Swift is a huge inspiration to me, even though she's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So just for like a timestamp, that's kind of where we are in historical.
Yeah.
Like,
I
pop
think it's
culture right
exciting
now.
because now we can listen to we are allowed to officially listen to the original records
yes.
again. I think it's amazing, all that she did with re-recording things to like take her power back.
I know, so
but
cool.
also it's not the same as listening to
well,
you
no,
get used to those ones, and those are the ones you know.
well, sure, but I think they might
You
be
think they're better? Okay. I believe that.
So I think that's why, it is disappointing that we're not going to get Reputation, because her updates are also cool. But also she did that like not like just a few years before she started releasing her Taylor's versions.
Yeah.
So I do also fully respect as an artist, like not wanting to go delve into things that make you feel icky.
Sure.
Or whatever it is that she's feeling. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she doesn't want to go back into that headspace. That's why she's not been able to record it. But how funny that we've all been watching for that to be like dropped, and she hasn't even finished recording it yet.
Uh-huh.
That's really funny. Like,
That
we've
is
been
funny.
watching for months. We thought when we were at the Eras tour that like she was going to announce it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She did not. Anyways,
Well, she's been busy. We'll let it slide.
Oh, I know. I feel like she is very much her own person and does things that are right for her.
Yeah.
And I think she's a great example of when you do what's right for you, it's right for everyone else too.
That's
because
good.
maybe it's a little bit hard to handle that we do not get these albums,
Yeah.
new versions.
Mm-hmm.
But also maybe it's good for us all to like
Move
take
on.
a beat. Just respect someone's autonomy as an artist.
MoveOn.org.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now my brain's like going to that I'm like, my brain's just like going through all the examples of this now as it does. So now I'm thinking about that Frasier episode that we watched where his tape, where he finally like decided to just let it go and not have a complete collection.
Oh, he had every single episode of
Episode.
his show up
Mhm.
to his 2000th. He had just recorded.
Except for one.
And then one was missing. It was replaced with a Hall & Oates tape.
Was it Hall & Oates?
Was it Hall & Oates?
Maybe it was. But it, anyways,
That's not the point.
that's not the point.
The point is he tried desperately to fill his collection and make it complete. And then he found someone who was obsessed with him, and it was scary.
It was like spooky, eerie.
Yeah.
I would
He
say.
was mentally unwell
And he realized that this was not what was important.
to obsess over a
Right.
complete collection.
Yeah, wasn't what he wanted to do. But
Yeah.
he had done it, and that
Mhm.
was what was important.
Season 9 episode. I don't remember the episode number.
I don't know. We're currently watching
Yeah.
Frasier, so I'm
Mhm.
definitely
Good stuff.
okay.
All right.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think that was good. All right. So hopefully we will. Where can you find these? You can find these episodes on
Everywhere.
YouTube and other places.
The video will
We
be
would
on
love for you
YouTube
to
and
share them
Spotify.
if you like us. Even if you're just like, you know what, this is a little bit rough, but these people are nice and we like them.
Yeah, I think we'll get this figured out
We will.
as we move along. Leave any questions, comments, suggestions in the comments.
Would love to hear all the ways you think that we can get better.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let loose in the comments.
Yes.
And that's it.
Okay.
It's a good day.
All right. The end.
The end.
Okay.